As-salaam wa-alaikum, brothers and sisters. This is year 7 of the 17 Verses podcast. I'm your host, Maher Haq. In this podcast, we take a small selection from the Quran every day and recite it to you in plain English, so you can get a small slice of God's word while you go about your day. By averaging 17 verses per day, we're able to break the Quran down into manageable pieces and finish it in 1 year. If you enjoyed the podcast, please help spread the word. Tell your friends and family, subscribe in Apple Podcasts or Stitcher or wherever you get your podcasts, and write us a review. Show notes and a transcript can be found at 17verses.com. That's the numbers 17verses.com. Today's selection concludes Surah 79, An-Naziat, or Those Who Tear Out, verses 27 through 46. These verses talk of the difficulty, or ease as it were, of the creation of man as compared to the creation of the heavens and the earth, and then ends with a missive on punishment and reward on the day of judgment. Tafseer for the selection concerns the heavens mentioned in verse 28 and the purpose of night and day mentioned in verse 29. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. O mankind! Is your creation harder than the heavens that He built? He raised its canopy and fashioned it to perfection. He gave darkness to the night and brightness to the day. After that He spread out the earth. Then from it He brought forth its water and its pasture, set its mountains, and made them beneficial for you and your cattle. When the great disaster will strike, the day when man will call to mind all that he had striven for, when hell shall be placed in full view of all, then he who had rebelled and preferred the life of this world shall have his abode in hell. But he who had feared standing before his Lord and curbed his evil desires shall have his home in paradise. They ask you about the hour. When will it come? But it is not for you to know or tell its timing. Only your Lord knows when it will come. You are but a warner to him who fears it. On that day, when they shall see it, they shall feel as if they had stayed in this world only one evening or one morning. Ameen. Now, concerning the heavens mentioned in verse 28 and the purpose of night and day mentioned in verse 29. Quote, the mystery of the heavens with their countless stars and the planets obeying the laws of motion, and the sun and moon influencing the temperature, and the climates of the earth from thousands or millions of miles, illustrate the order and perfection which Allah has given to His creation. Can man then remain exempt from his responsibility for his deeds, endowed as he is with a will, or deny the day of sorting out, which is the day of judgment? Both the night and the day have each its own beauty and utility for man, as has been frequently pointed out in the Quran. The night is a period of darkness, but it also has its splendors in the light of the moon, or the planets Jupiter or Venus, or stars like Sirius or the Milky Way galaxy. These countless lights of the night have their own beauty, and by day there is the splendor of the sun for us, which in creation as a whole is just one of countless stars. Unquote. Thank you. This concludes today's episode of the 17 Verses podcast. I hope that this selection helps increase your understanding of the Holy Quran just a little bit. If you like the podcast, you can subscribe in iTunes or Stitcher and write us a review. Or you can grab the RSS feed and put it into your own podcast app. The show notes, including a text version of this episode, can be found by going to 17verses.com. That's the numbers 17verses.com. Thank you, and be well.